you guys doing?
Gotta lean real close.
Hi.
Hello, Bacon.
You dabbed, I saw it. Yeah, what's up? So this panel is about telling you guys stories about what it's like to stream Minecraft live. How many of you guys have watched your favorite Minecrafter play live? Most of you. That's awesome. Hopefully, we are your favorite Minecrafters. We're going to introduce ourselves. I am Aurelian. I play Minecraft. I also do YouTube videos, but I'm also the community manager for Twitch. So hopefully you guys, how many of you guys have watched someone live on Twitch? Awesome. Very good. So that's my job. I work with these awesome people, and I'm just here to facilitate, and they're going to tell you some awesome stories. Right, Chad?
Yeah. My name's Chad. My backbone of my live streams are normally Minecraft related, but I do variety. I played Solitaire the other week, and it was probably the most popular stream I've had in a long time. So variety, but Minecraft is definitely my backbone.
And a nice backbone it is, Chad.
You can take that out of the thing and pass it.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Mobility.
They're wireless.
That's fantastic. Thank you. See, this is why you're moderating this panel. Pro tips. Hi, I'm Bacon Donut. A lot of people know me because of a mod pack I made called Sky Factory. And yeah, and I'm a full-time Twitch broadcaster who occasionally YouTubes. And yeah, I've been streaming full-time for 3 years and like 4 years total. And I like almost every day.
I'm MK the Worst. I've been streaming on Twitch since early 2013, and I've been partnered since 2014 and doing it full-time for 2 years now. Time flies when you're having fun.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I also go by Captain Sparkles. I've been making... Thanks.
We love you, Jordan.
I've been making internet videos for almost 7 years now. Man, time flies.
When you're having fun.
Yes, when you're having fun every single day. It's pretty great. I have no complaints. Thank you all for coming. I've been streaming occasionally here and there as well during that time period, not quite as frequently as of late. However, trying to do it on a weekly basis now with a factions thingamadoohicker. So anyway, thanks for coming. Let's do it.
So as you can tell by everyone's kind of introductions, everyone's done a little bit of live, a little bit of VOD, which is video on demand recorded content, but the two can be pretty different, right? So anyone can jump in on any of these questions, but what do you guys feel like is the biggest difference between having something that you've recorded, that no one's seen, that you then edit, versus just doing it off the cuff and doing it in front of potentially thousands of people?
Well, for me, the big difference is instant feedback, right? So if you're making a YouTube video, it's very common if a YouTuber is making a video that they're not sure about, like they're trying something new and they don't know if they want to do more of that or not, they'll go back and read the comments after the facts and look at how many up and down votes it got or whatever. But you don't get that feedback until after you've already released that video. If you're doing it live, it's instant. Like if I start into something and everybody hates it, I can immediately tell. And sometimes things that I wouldn't have necessarily thought were hilarious or whatever just would get a big reaction. And then I'm like, oh, well, I need to do more of that. And then adjust on the fly. And so that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's almost like the difference is between, let's say, with comedy as a metaphor. It's the difference between making a comedy movie and doing stand-up. Is a comedy movie, you're looking at it a few times, you're trying to, what makes it funny to you. But with stand-up, the moment that you deliver a joke, you hear the audience's laughter. And if it wasn't a good joke, you don't hear the laughter. So you know basically the moment that it happens, and you have to edit on the fly with just what you do in the future. And also, and all that comes on live streams from the chat room. So literally you live or die from the chat whenever you're on a live stream. But whenever I do a VOD, sometimes I don't even read the comments. It's like the comments, they're not required. Oh, I'm gonna get banned. Yeah, so it's a big difference between the connection to the community, the direct connection to the community with a live stream versus a video.
That's a good point. MK, I know that you stream full time. So for you, the difference between getting that feedback in a video, because you also do VOD content, what is the difference in the familiarity that you have with users when you're live versus when you're just putting up a video like on YouTube?
Well, when you're live, it's a conversation. It's not just feedback down the road. It's a constant dialogue back and forth, and I really love that interaction because you can ask the chat questions and vice versa, and you can answer instantly.
Yeah, it's kind of like being able to come to a convention without leaving your house, right? Like we get the opportunity to talk to you guys while we're here, but on Twitch or any live streaming platform, if you're able to just have that instant connection where they're saying like, oh yeah, I watched your video, and you can go like, oh yeah, cool, thanks for watching that, versus in, you know, a stationary comment, like you have to go back, it's not real time.
Right. I think it's hard on YouTube to get to know your audience because if somebody comes to your chat every day and you're having a conversation with them, then you can start to remember those names that come back over and over and over again. And so it becomes more of a mutual relationship. Whereas on YouTube, I mean, I get comments, but I don't pay attention to the names.
Yeah. Jordan, you do VOD content primarily and you stream some things on Twitch. So how do you make the decision between what you're going to live stream versus what you're not going to live stream? Like, how do you make that decision?
Usually, if it's something that's going to take more time and be like a repetitive action, then I'll stream it because I can sort of mitigate that by talking with chat and going back and forth, taking suggestions there. It makes it so whereas on YouTube it would be a part that I would definitely edit out. I can just go and have a conversation with people, and it seems to go over just fine. And then back to the earlier point on the differentiation between the two. I think the most nerve-wracking part is when you're live. If you mess up, it's out there. You can't really do anything about it. And I'll be honest, there have been times in YouTube series where I've started off an episode and within like the first 10 seconds been killed and lost all my stuff, and I'll just be like, no, we're not using that, and then I'll reload the save. Sorry, exposed. But anyway, if you do that on a stream, you can't really do anything about it. So that's a big difference for me.
But people love to watch you suffer.
Oh, they do, absolutely. But then at the same time, while they're loving to watch you suffer, they also get mad that you weren't able to like flawlessly retrieve your stuff in like 2 seconds. So anyway.
I think that's a good point. What you said about when you mess up, it's there, and I think that's most people. Whenever I talk to them, that's their biggest fear with live streaming is I'm gonna screw up and then and I can't fix it. You know, that is by far the biggest fear. To me, though, it's a little freeing knowing that if I screw up, we're just gonna keep going. Because there's been videos where it's taken me 3 hours to do something that should take me 10 minutes because I didn't get it perfect or I didn't do it exactly how I had it in my mind. But on Twitch, too bad. I already did it. Let's move on. And so that can actually be, once you're okay with the fact that you might mess up on a stream, that is actually very freeing and makes me actually kind of want to do live streaming even more.
Do you guys feel like there are different expectations between the people who view like VOD content and the people who watch something live, right? We know that, you know, a YouTube video is anywhere from 8 to 20 minutes, right? But the 8 to 20 minutes actually, and I don't know if a lot of you guys know that, it takes oftentimes 3 to 4 times longer to make that content. So what you're seeing in a condensed 10 to 20 minutes could have taken someone like Chad 3 hours to go get the materials, build it, whatever. And all you're seeing is like, I'm gonna build this thing. Let me go get these materials real quick. And then like in real time, that was 4 hours, but then it's a 2-second cut. And then he's like, and I built the thing, look at it, isn't it awesome? But then on Twitch, it's like they have to be there for the whole 3 hours. Like they're in it, man. Like they're there to participate. Do you feel like that affects the way that people expect you to perform as a content creator? Do you feel like
Yes.
that changes like user behavior?
In a huge way, yeah. It's real common for people to come into my live stream who are there for the first time because they'll find me through YouTube and then work their way over to my Twitch. And it's very common for me to start a brand new world. Perfect example, there's a mod pack I've been playing lately called FTB Infinity, which has an expert mode, which is ridiculously hard, and like you can play that like full time for an entire week just to get some of the basic machines that you need. Like it it takes months to complete the pack. And people will show up when I've just started the world an hour ago and I'm standing there with a stone pickaxe and they're like, why don't you have a quarry yet? Like, I can't just, jump cut to to when I have that done. And that happens all the time. And people are just, well, just make a Vajra, just make quantum armor. Like, I don't have any of that. I have 3 torches and a stone pickaxe. You're going to have to wait a while.
Jordan, you do a lot of stuff in your modded series live. Do you feel like that's the case? That a lot of times people are like, why is it taking you forever?
I think it's usually that I won't know something because I've not played the thing before. And people will be like, how dare you not know this thing that you have never looked at before in your life? And I'm like,
my other favorite YouTuber made one. Why haven't you made one?
are you like not on the same telepathic wavelength? Do you not know all their information? So that'll happen. And then I guess that's the main thing. People are usually very nice and tolerant, though, for the most part. For everyone who's angry, there are another few who are usually being nice about it.
Now, one of your main things that you've done live was MINECON, right? How many of you guys have seen MINECON? Yeah? All right. So that was based centrally around doing it live, right? And that was a series where you never knew what to expect. Do you feel like MINECON became successful because it was live before it was VOD all the time? Or do you feel like had you just kept it to doing like recorded content, it would have had kind of the success that it had?
I guess it's hard to know for sure without having like done both of them. But I think that, I guess there's a market for both. There are a lot of people who enjoyed watching it live. I think there were a lot of people who waited specifically for the trimmed down version that I'd post on my channel. Just depends how much time people have. But I do think certainly an element that appealed to the people who watched it live was the fact that we honestly didn't know what was coming when there were story events, that it was actually the behind the scenes people, they scripted it themselves and we were kind of just along for the ride. And usually in other series like that, it wasn't the case. Usually the people doing the streaming would be in on the act. They'd know what's going to happen. But it was blind, and I think that showed through, and people did enjoy it for that reason.
There's a lot of things that we do as content creators that just for some reason tend to work better live than they do elsewhere. And sometimes it's impossible. We've all done UHCs live when we've done them for charity, where it's basically the whole entire event unfolds because we give people the opportunity to donate and then in real time affect what happens in the game. And that couldn't happen if it was recorded. Like, we need that live interaction, that live feedback, and that's part of what makes it successful. Do you guys have any other examples of things that you've done specifically where you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this live? Like, I really want the audience to be in on what I'm doing.
For me, I really love learning live. So, like, when it comes to mods, I pretty much never go search up a video to get a tutorial. I just go live, wait for someone in the chat room to know the mod, and then enjoy the process of learning together. And
he does a lot of planning, obviously.
And it's great because it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, I'll get like several people telling me the exact opposite.
Oh
things.
yeah.
So
it has,
it's real tough.
And it's all part of the entertainment of it, right? So like what happens is you have one group of people that knows what they're talking about and are giving you correct information. You have another group of people that think they know what they're talking about and are trying to give you correct information, but it's wrong. You have other people that are making wild guesses but stating it as if it was fact. And then you have other people that are straight up just trolling you and telling you wrong stuff because it's funny. And then I get frustrated, like, what, you said that would work? That didn't work at all. Like, come on. And
it's like trust roulette.
It all just adds to the fun of it. And it's one of many ways that I take the doldrum things that often would be behind the scenes and turn it into an opportunity for performance and entertainment.
Yeah, MK and Chad, you guys do occasionally stuff that's really interactive, and you guys like to play Minecraft with your viewers, and you like to do mini games. How do you feel like that works live versus, do you have the opportunity to do that if it's recorded, or is it just easier to do it live because people can see you, they can go into the server? Like, what makes you want to do that in real time?
I've only done that on YouTube a handful of times, and it's always been with a group. We were doing a group recording, and we realized that the mini game we were playing was on a really small, unknown server, and we couldn't get enough people in to get the game to actually start. So you'll tweet out, and a couple of fans will hop in and join you, and you do the whole recording. It's very, very different.
Very different, yeah. It's basically the difference between a tweet and then the viewers who are watching live. The one thing you do have to worry about is stream sniping, where someone's going to see where you are in the game. Or
You just try too hard.
do I?
I just lose, and I'm just okay with it.
You're just cool
I'm
with
just fine with it.
losing. Yeah.
I would lose anyway. So.
Yeah. No. When I can tell someone's targeting, that definitely, I don't know. I don't like that at all. But it's something you just got to live with, and you just get over it. That's really the only downside I would say to doing it live, because so what I do also, because that does frustrate me, is I play on my own whitelisted server, where I give my subscribers a perk that they can be on the server with me when I play, and there's no real reason to do PvP on there. So we're building together, we're sharing resources, it's all survival. I'm going around and seeing people's builds, and I love that. That's by far one of my favorite things to do, because I feel like I've had a small hand in bringing this community of people together that are on a server. And if you've ever played on a Minecraft server, and I'm sure you have, there's so many fun little details of the world, and it's impossible to see them all. So I get on there, and then on the live stream show off all the little things that people have been making and that they've been doing, and the farms that they are making and things like that. And that is really one of my favorite things to do on a multiplayer server.
And along those same lines, it's really cool to watch your viewers become friends with each other.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh.
that.
That's the best.
And start servers together amongst themselves and want to get their own realm and start playing.
Or meet up in real life.
Or start dating.
Two of my viewers are dating.
Yeah.
It's like MK
Relationships
the Worst
start from my
matchmaking
chat.
service. Yeah.
Yeah, no, seriously. Many of my my community calls themselves the Chat Fam, and we have many ships and then also sales that have happened. Yeah, it's crazy.
Our next panel is about how to find love through Minecraft. And it starts with these guys.
The most highly
should do
attended.
that.
Welcome to the Love Show.
Can we do that
Matchmaking
next
through
year?
Minecraft. But that brings a good point, that it's another opportunity for you to connect with the people who watch your videos or watch you stream, watch you live. Do you feel like it's a better way to be able to do that? Are there other ways that give you as many options to be able to kind of regularly give back and have like a pulse on the people who are
Right.
watching your videos in your community?
My stated goal when I started Twitch was I wanted to turn a casual viewer into a super fan. Is because my largest channel on YouTube is kind of stale. I sit at a set, I do a tutorial, and we're done. There's not a lot of ways for my personality to kind of shine through. So I wanted to take anyone who had seen me through that and turn them into someone that knew me, that could hang out with me, that was really part of a bigger group and a bigger community than just someone who had searched for a tutorial and seen it. So that was absolutely a stated goal, was to take casual people who may know me, and turn them into super fans that really know me.
Yeah. MK, Jordan? All right. Good job. I was thinking about it too, MK, when you were talking about like friends, like meeting people through your server. And MK and I actually have one of our best friends together that we met because I had a Minecraft server that was there for people who were watching me live stream. And I was doing like a tour of the server, and she'd built a house, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm like in computer engineering and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. Where are you from? She's like, I'm from New Zealand. And we just kind of casually started chatting back and forth. And like fast forward 3 months later, and the three of us like went on a girls' vacation to New York, and we're like hanging out because we met through being live and then having a Minecraft server and then being able to like be friends and meet through that.
Yeah, that was really cool. And she's getting married next month.
And we're in her wedding.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Just having a little moment up
Moving
here.
on.
Do you guys have other stories and conversations of things that you've experienced live, either with like viewers or funny things that have happened that like stick out in your mind of like, this is what it's like
when
to
you
be
forget
live?
that you're streaming or don't know that you're streaming?
Or
Oh,
your
Chad
cat
did that.
streams for you.
No, you have to now tell the story of what happened.
So,
It's the best.
so my cat live streamed while I was asleep, and I had my computer in my bedroom. So the shot was on my bed, me sleeping. I had been
For
testing
hours.
it was about 30 minutes because a friend.
Wasn't that longer than that?
I thought
don't
it was
know,
longer
maybe-
than 30 minutes.
It was longer than
I
30
don't
minutes.
remember.
At least
We
an
had to
hour.
text you multiple times to tell you
Yes.
that everyone
Cat
was watching
stepped
you
on-
sleep.
Cat stepped on the keyboard or
Yeah,
whatever?
so I was testing like servers. I was testing, my settings, and I thought, here's the bet. When you're gonna go live, you don't want to futz around with click and start. You need a key that you press once, and you're live, right? Hotkey it up. This is the best solution.
What
no
could go wrong?
headaches.
What could go
What
wrong?
could go wrong? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It
Till your
was
cat.
that night. That night, my cat stepped on my keyboard, and you can even see her. I downloaded the video before I deleted it off of Twitch, and then edited it for a YouTube video. You can see her in the video, rubbing up against the microphone, like walking all over the keyboard. I'm asleep in the background. Yeah, it went on for a while until I find a friend, a moderator of the chat room, called me, and you can hear the phone going off, and me reaching over and looking at. And I had been dyeing my hair that night, and like I had this bandana on. I looked like a gangster. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous.
There's been numerous times when something that happens in the chat will like trigger a whole thing that I'll do, and that later become rituals or whatever. Like for example, Minecraft, especially when you're live streaming, there's repetitive tasks, right? Like you have to go mining, and you're just gonna break blocks for an hour, or various things like that. And so
Twerking for trees?
What's that?
Twerking for trees.
Twerking for trees, exactly. He's played my mod pack. He knows.
Dude, what did
it's
you
like.
do?
What?
You have to.
Oh, in Sky Factory, there's one of the. Okay, the first version of Sky
I'm
Factory.
so concerned right now.
You start in a void you're just on a block, like there's one tree and that's it, and everything goes from there. And in the first version of it, you had to put down a sapling and just stand there and stare at it until it grew into another tree. So that was one of the complaints. I'm like, well, we're playing modded, we can improve this, right? And so someone made a mod for me where if you spam the shift button, it would apply a bone meal effect and make the tree grow. So it's called Tree Growing Simulator 2014, but we all call it twerking for trees. And we'll hit F5 and, put on some
Sticky keys
some
pops up, and it's like,
music.
man, you're like,
Yes.
no sticky keys, I don't want
Exactly,
this.
yeah. So anyway, so when you're doing those sorts of grindy things, it's common for people to be like, can we just get to the gameplay already? Like, can we stop with, can you, or like, I'll be off talking about chicken, and people are like, can you just play the game? And so I'll use that to react. Like, I have hotkeyed in my software where I can push a button and the word gameplay appears in giant letters all the way across the screen. It'd be like, okay, there's some gameplay. Now, back to chicken. And, that sort of thing. Or one time someone came in and said that my camera was too small, so I just, like, blew it up to the entire size of the whole, there's like a little corner of Minecraft over my shoulder. Okay, that's perfect. And then I just keep playing the game like everything's fine. And, and that's all like, someone says one thing in the chat, and then I end up getting like an hour of laughs out of it because I'm reacting to it. And that's all stuff I wouldn't think of on my own if it was a VOD.
Or you know how sometimes when you're hanging out with your friends, you remember this hilarious internet meme that you saw, and you're like, I really need to show my friends? Sometimes I'll get derailed, and I'll just like close out of Minecraft and be like, guys, I have to show you this hilarious Twitter account. So we'll spend, 3 minutes scrolling through this Twitter account, and I'm like crying, laughing, and the chat, people will come in because I won't have changed the game because I'm only stopping for 3 minutes, and people will be like, this is not Minecraft.
Have you ever been in a situation in person where you've been like, hi friends, I need to show you this great meme?
Have you not?
No.
Yeah. Who shows memes to their friends? There we go.
It's never happened in person. It might be like a Skype chat or something like that. I
No,
don't know.
we did
around
it.
the
We
day.
did it
I'm
yesterday.
in the minority
we
here.
did it yesterday, waiting out for the panel, and we were talking about something, and I went, "Oh, where's Seth Bling?" And they're like over there, and I was like, "Seth Bling, I have to show you this video right now." And he was like, "Okay."
We
It
cannot
happens-
mention the video, but yes, it was
It was-
very funny.
It was hilarious. It happens. Jordan, you just need to go out more.
There we go,
You
folks.
need better friends.
Jardon is doing it wrong.
I was thinking about it too when they were talking about accidentally going live. Jordan, you have a really bad habit of opening up OBS to record and then not realizing that you've actually gone live to Twitch for like
Okay.
15 seconds, and he does like 6 intros, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't
All
mean
right,
to be
that
live."
hasn't
And then
happened
he
that
just
many
shuts it
times.
down.
Maybe like 3 or 4. I don't. Okay, so I used to not.
That's a pattern.
I use OBS to just do my normal YouTube recordings. OBS is a streaming software / recording software. And so you
It's
can
free.
change it's a great piece of software. Recommend it. And so in the settings, you can change it between like live stream and local record, or just doing local record. And for a while, I was too lazy every time I recorded to just go in and switch it on and off. And I'd be like, I'll never accidentally stream. But then I did that a few times, and I rarely get my intros done in one take. So I'd start an intro, cut myself off mid-word, do another one, and then I would like take a look over at the software, and it would say streaming. And I could have played it off much better, but really I would just panic and immediately close the thing. And then now I switch it in the settings every time.
I think we're learning now that most of our problems start with us going, "This will never be a problem," and then it is most definitely then times where it's like a problem multiple times.
Yeah. Laziness is great.
Right? Do you guys see like the future of where things live are going? Have you changed in the last, 4 years that some of us have been streaming? Do you see is it different than it was 4 years ago? Do you think it's going to be different going forward? And if so, what have you done, or what do you think you'll do going forward to change that experience?
It's definitely changed. It's a very fast-paced industry, right? Like, it's changing all the time. New technologies are coming out, and computers are getting better. Like, when I first started, it was kind of difficult to stream sometimes because I only had one computer and it wasn't very good, and then it would take up all my CPU, and then the game would take up the CPU, and then later I get a second computer and to do both together and stuff, and Twitch is always adding new features, and I try my best to like jump on those immediately, and I don't know, and I think we're just all together improving our craft, and I feel like it's changing a lot, and is going to keep doing that.
Definitely from the YouTube point of view, because I started mostly as a YouTuber, and then started my streams 3 times a week. Is I feel like there's definitely a trend that YouTubers who have smaller audiences like to stream, because there's more of a direct support from your audience when you stream. And so I've seen a lot of people that maybe are frustrated with their numbers on YouTube or don't feel like they're growing fast enough will switch over to Twitch, because it's almost like Patreon and things like that, because you can get direct support from your viewers, and you're not going through advertisers, you're not going through YouTube AdSense for all of that stuff. And I've definitely seen a trend of even YouTubers starting up Twitch streams because YouTube isn't paying their rent anymore.
A perfect example of how a new feature of Twitch changed my stream dramatically, and that's bits. So Twitch comes out with a feature called bits. It's basically animated emotes that you can buy to use in chat, and they cost $0.01 each, and so that pretty small if you want to get in on that. And so on launch day, people made this little animated cup thing so that when anyone uses one of these bits, it on the screen falls into the cup. And I've just had all sorts of fun with that, like make the cup huge or put it behind my head so they're falling on me and I have to dodge them, and all sorts of stuff. And my chat loves them, and have learned how to troll me with them and whatever. And it's been a ton of fun, and it's something that wasn't even possible until a couple of months ago.
My favorite feature of the cup is that bits have different values, and the cup weights them differently. So if you have a bit that costs a penny, and it falls in the cup, it'll just rest there. But then a bit that's like $5 will come, just smash all the penny bits out of there, and they'll go flying, and it's awesome.
Yep.
Do you guys feel like, with the way that content creation is going and how everything's kind of moving forward, that there are different priorities that you place on how you do? Because we all have different schedules, right? Some of us stream almost exclusively. Jordan, you do VOD content, and then you add in live stream when you can. Do you feel like between the two, there's a difference in like the expectations or what you feel like you have to provide to your viewers back, right? Like a lot of times you'll hear YouTubers say that consistency is key, right? You got to upload to keep people engaged. Do you feel like live streaming is the same way? And if so, do you feel like it's hard to kind of then step away or do both at the same time?
I think that with live streaming, it's probably even more crucial to be extremely consistent. So for these guys over here, I'm sure this is a very stressful time being away.
Yes, can confirm.
Yeah. So at least when it comes to VOD content, like you can back stuff up. So for me, right now, I can have videos going up in the background even though I'm in a different place, and that makes it a little bit easier. But for me, that has sort of been my priority, is maintaining the consistency on my YouTube channel. And then when I do get a chance to stream, then I stream. But I've not let that limit me in terms of if I want to at some point in the day go out and do something. I've not let streaming keep me from doing that, unless there was a series going on like MINECON. Whereas I like to leave my schedule very flexible during the day, and oftentimes my recording hours they're weird. I'll sometimes be recording at midnight or 1 a.m.
Yeah, what he said is absolutely true. We can't, that you could consider that a downside to live streaming, that you can't backdate, you can't pile up content to just stream, So I'm here at MINECON, I can't stream while I'm here, and TwitchCon is next weekend. So I flew to LA to do MINECON. I'm flying home for like 2 days to get a couple of streams in, and then I'm flying back to San Diego next weekend to go to TwitchCon. And I try to stream while I'm here, but hotel internet is terrible and all that sort of stuff. I can't just pre-record stuff. But it should be noted that yes, if you're doing this professionally, consistency is very, very important, and I'm terrible at it. But there's nothing wrong with being casual as a live streamer, right? Like, you don't have to put that sort of pressure on yourself. Like, make it a hobby, just have fun with it. It doesn't matter how often you stream or when you start or when you don't. You're gonna have a hard time growing your channel size that way, but there's nothing wrong with it, right? A lot of people put too much pressure on themselves and then end up not streaming at all.
Well, and viewers can tell when you're not having fun, and nobody wants to watch somebody who's not having fun.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So I'm sure there are a lot of people in this room who may ask. We're going to do a Q&A in about 15 minutes, but I'm sure someone would ask, what advice do you have for someone who wants to start, doing live content or even content creation in general? In one sentence, and you can't repeat what someone else said, what piece of advice would you give them?
Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like, don't, if it's not your job, make it a hobby, have fun, don't put too much pressure.
Act like you're already as big as you want to be.
It's good.
If you find yourself in the trenches where you have, just 1 or 2 viewers and your page is down and nobody's going to stumble across your stream, start watching, get involved in a bigger streamers community, become friends with those people who are also in the chat. Don't plug your channel, but as you become friends with those people, they'll slowly start to find out that you stream too, and then maybe you'll be able to get out of that just 1 to 2 viewer, like, deep Mariana's Trench of Twitch.
I would say don't go into it with the expectation that you're going to be able to make it a job. Just do it for fun, and as long as you're enjoying just playing games as you would regardless of if you're streaming or making content out of it, then you're going to enjoy it. So don't pay attention to the numbers as long as you're having fun. And then if that carries over, then that's great if people start watching you because you're having fun.
Y'all had really good points about going into it kind of with the right mindset, right? Everyone kind of focused on the mindset. But Bacon, you touched on something earlier where you said, you know, I started out live streaming, I had one computer and it wasn't very good, and then I got a second computer. And I'm sure a lot of people went like, you have to have 2 computers to stream, which isn't the case, right? Some people just prefer that as their setup.
Had you allowed me 2 sentences, I would have said that.
Yeah.
My second advice is start with what you have.
Right.
Like, because I started with very horrible equipment. I had a $5 microphone, and it was janky, and I had fun. And as the stream grew, you know, I invested more in equipment, and now I've got like way too if I totaled up all the money I've spent on my equipment, it would be
Some
a
people
large
still only
number.
use one computer here, man.
I use one computer.
I use one computer.
So, but the point that I'm making is that you don't have to start there, right? And there are definitely people that say that, like, I can't stream because I don't have a big giant pile of money. Like, it doesn't take to get started. I mean, first of all, you can stream directly from an Xbox, for example, with nothing else. Just the Xbox. If you want a webcam, the Kinect can do that. Like, that's all you need. And an internet connection, you want 1 megabit or more up.
As long as you tell nobody else to use the internet in the house while you're streaming.
Yeah.
And you know, and generally you want a computer that has a 20 or 30% of your CPU power.
No one here
available.
knows what that means.
Some people do, or they can Google it later. Your computer has to be able to play the game and then have a little bit of power left over to also do the streaming. And then you have to have an internet connection that's fast. And if you have that, then you can stream. And you shouldn't put pressure on yourself to do more than, because if you're just starting, it's a hobby anyway. It doesn't have to be good. You don't want to set the bar too high, then you'll just disappoint people. So it can, only get better if you start with it terrible.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you mentioned too, is that there are ways that people can stream that don't necessarily involve having to have 2 computers and whatever. Like he said, if you have an Xbox or a PlayStation, there's a Twitch integration that you can just hit go live and you can see your chat room and you can have kind of all that set up. So if it's something that you want to try, you don't have to be professional on, day one with like 2 computers and audio equipment and all this other stuff. Like you can have a headset and a Kinect and go live.
There are also ways to stream from your phone, which makes it pretty easy. You can play a mobile game and stream that.
Yep.
If I don't know exactly what the software is because I haven't tried it, but there are ways to do it.
Some games actually have integration. There was
Yeah.
what was it? Asphalt 8 had Twitch integration in it, and so you could stream the game directly from your phone. I did a couple of streams in airports that way, but if you don't have a special like handset, you're turning the phone to drive, and the audience they're getting dizzy watching your face cam. That was a fun one.
Yeah. So I'm sure, too, that there would be a lot of parents that are interested in, we've had this question come up in other panels, MK, where we have parents that come to us and say, my 8, 9, 10, 11, 13-year-old wants to start streaming. Should they do it? Right? And what advice, Bacon, we're parents, we have kids.
Yeah.
Would we let our own kids stream? And how would you answer that question? And what would you tell parents or even young kids who want to try it? What would be your real advice for them going forward?
Well, before saying anything else, you definitely need to follow the rules of Twitch, and the terms of service say that you have to be 13 and above to have an account on Twitch. But if you're 13 or more, and I don't know what the rule is if you're younger than that, but parents are directly involved. I have no idea, but that's more a question for her.
Read up on Copa. It's very fun.
Yeah. I personally, if I'm talking to a parent who said, and this happens to me all the time, who's saying to me, my kid is wanting to start streaming, how should I feel about this? And generally my response is similar, like make sure they have the right mindset. This isn't going to be their job or whatever, like it's just a hobby. But personally, I find it to be a fantastic hobby for children. I have children myself, and they're not old enough yet, but I absolutely will allow them if they want to stream. And the reason is, it's a very safe way to get social interaction. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of people on Twitch as viewers and broadcasters who have struggles with social anxiety. of various types. And Twitch is, especially with broadcasting, you get to practice in a safe environment in your own bedroom or whatever. You get to practice interacting with people, and there's a button right there that if it's ever too much, you can just press it and it's done. You don't ever have to do it again. You can close the chat room anytime if it's too much. But for people that struggle with that sort of stuff, and a lot of kids do, it can be a wonderful way to push your personal comfort level a bit and just do a little more. And I've talked to so many people that have used Twitch as a way to do that and have made tremendous strides. And now they're going to conventions and being around thousands of people, which they never could have done before because they would have been too anxious or whatever.
To kind of add on to that, all the way up through college, I was incapable of public speaking. I would freeze up. I could not talk, and now here I am.
Yeah, I think my one piece to add on to that as well is that if you are a parent and you have a kid that wants to live stream, it is essential that you are actively involved. There are moderation tools that are available on any live streaming platform to protect them. You can blacklist certain words if you don't want things to get said that you may not want them to see. It's very important also to keep a pulse on what people are saying because, like Jordan said, most of the community is supportive, they're great, but there can be that one thing that someone will say that can really upset you, right? Even as adults, we get it sometimes.
It will happen.
It can happen where, we get that, and if you have a kid who may not be as able to handle that type of criticism or response, if you haven't had the talk that says, sometimes people just say things because they're mean, you have to be able to openly have that conversation. I have a 7-year-old and she doesn't live stream with me, but she appears in videos, and it has taken since she was 3 to be able to tell her we don't say where we are, we don't use our real names, we don't, you know what I mean? Like, it takes years of practice to be able to do that and to be able to do it safely, because kids oftentimes don't understand that you shouldn't say your real name. You shouldn't give away your information. You can't give away your IP. Like, there are certain things that are just these ins and outs of the industry that I think it's really good practice. And so maybe if you do it together, you do it as a mom and a daughter, and we've had fathers and sons, we've had mothers and daughters, we've had mothers and sons, we have parents and kids who stream together as an experience because it's a safe way for them to be involved in a hobby that their kid wants to try, while being able to protect them from the things that they may just not know from life experience that we've had 10 plus years of being on the internet to know, hey, I probably shouldn't do that. I shouldn't give away my Skype information. I shouldn't do these things.
Don't say what school you go to.
Right, don't say what school you go to.
System 32 is not a virus.
Yeah, don't delete your System 32. Like, there are things that you would be surprised. It happens often.
I can't underscore that point enough. That's huge for advice for parents.
System 32 is not a virus, or?
Well, that's too. But I mean, if you're a parent and your child wants to live stream, tell them you don't give your real name, you don't give your location, just keep private things private, and that's very important.
Yeah,
because it very much can get used against you, and that sadly happens to people that we know. So, but it's easy. You just, make it fun, right? Make an online persona.
Yeah.
You're not Frank.
My daughter's name is
you're not
Boo.
Frank. You're Bob, and
She knows that her name is Boo, and she knows that people call her Boo when they know her from gaming, and they call her by her real name when they know her as a person. And so we've had those conversations, but it can be super rewarding. I did a video about 6 months ago, and I talked about it on a live stream. She was getting bullied at school, and there were kids that were making her cry, and the internet pulled together and did a hashtag called Stickers for Boo, and my P.O. box got flooded with stickers from all around the world of people that were like, we love you, don't let those people get you down. And that's important. It's important for her to know that there are good people in the world, and people care, and they don't have to be the people that you go to school with. So I think it can be very rewarding for kids to be involved as long as parents are actively involved. And I know that kids hate that when I say that, because they're like, I don't want my mom sitting next to me and looking over my shoulder. And I'm like, tough luck, man. Like, you can do it or you cannot do it, but it's for your own good, and you hate us now. I'm a mom. Kids, listen to me. I'm a mom. I'll tell you this. It's very important. Your parents just want you to be protected, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to take questions in about a minute, so if you guys want to line up, you can do that. I'm going to preface the question that I know is inevitable, and it's, Captain Sparkles, do you have a meet and greet later? He might. We don't know. We haven't been told that by agents, so if you ask that, and also we cannot sign anything or take pictures right now during this panel, So,
I have no idea what I'm doing other than a panel at 3:30, which you're
yeah.
welcome to
So
attend.
if you have a Twitter account, parents, if you can download Twitter, I'm sure Jordan, you would tweet if you were doing a meet and greet.
I would.
Yes.
I just don't know.
If he wasn't, he is now because I just delegated him to it. We're going to take turns going from mic to mic, and I will also tell you it is really hard to hear on this up here. So if you can talk a little loud, that would be perfect. Okay, we're going to start with this side over here.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, thank you for all the content. It's great. So my question is, what quality do you think is the most important in being a streamer? So what do you think helps you grow your channel? And then also with that, what steps do you take to improve as a streamer? Like, what do you do to be better?
Say again?
Quick answers.
Quick answers. Is in terms of like technically, I think audio quality is by far the like just technical quality. Other than that, it's just connecting with the chat room and to be better. I feel like running off of whatever the chat room is doing. That's the best way to be better.
I would also say it's really important, too, to be yourself. It is really hard day in and day out to put on a persona if you can't keep it up long term. And we're all human, and sometimes we have good days and bad days. And if you're constantly trying to pretend like you're something that you're not, A, people will see through it pretty quickly, and B, it gets really mentally exhausting. So you can be an exaggerated form of yourself, right? Like, I love glitter and rainbows, and like my whole stream is like, oh my God. But sometimes I can't do that, and my chat needs to like be aware that that's not something I can do all the time.
Yep. Be consistent, stream a lot, and don't get frustrated if the numbers are low.
But if you're not feeling up to it, then don't stream. It's better to not stream
Yeah.
than to be
That-
like
that can be-
angry when you're
Yeah,
at it.
your mental health isn't worth it. Awesome, thank you. Hi, over on this side.
Hello.
Hello.
Just wanted to point out I'm a huge fan of Captain Sparkles. And
Thanks,
I
man.
really wanted
Me
to
too.
see your panel here today. For my first question is, well, my only question is, what is the most embarrassing moment on stream or off stream? It doesn't really matter if.
I got a good one. Okay, so I have these two cats, and
It all starts with cats.
right. And I have a dehydration phobia, so I always stream with a big 32-ounce water bottle. And the one time I didn't screw my lid on, my cat dumped the entire 32 ounces all over my keyboard. Now I have a mechanical keyboard, so I was like, okay, if I can get this fully dried off, it'll probably be okay.
Really? Is that a thing?
The LEDs don't work anymore, but the keyboard is totally
Oh.
functional. Have you just
Okay.
been throwing away keyboards that you spill
No,
things
I don't
on?
just.
I think I've gone through 4
Okay,
keyboards.
okay, but
I'm
so-
less concerned about spilling now.
So I had
Yeah,
something.
often once they dry, they'll just start working again.
I had something that I had to get done that day. I think I was prepping to leave for a convention, and there was something that I had to do on stream that day. And so I said, okay, guys, we're going to get my blow dryer, and we're going to sit here and blow dry it on the cool setting. So I'm standing there cradling my keyboard, blow drying it for probably 20 minutes.
Nice. I kind of make a career out of embarrassing moments, so it's hard to pick one. But one that comes to mind, well, other than accidentally crashing the beam panel yesterday, that was great.
I heard about that.
Yeah, that was funny. Anyway, one time I was streaming and I had a case of Mountain Dew sodas next to me on on the ground out of sight, and I reached into the box to grab a new Mountain Dew, and I was paying attention to the chat room, right? So I wasn't looking, and I shoved my hand down and got a paper cut from the cardboard on the box, right? But it was all one fluid motion, so I had grabbed the soda right as the pain registered, right? So when I yanked my hand out because the pain, I threw the soda across the room. and I was so distracted by the pain that when I went and picked up the soda and I was complaining oh God, should I go get a Band-Aid or whatever? I wasn't thinking. And I opened the soda. And it's live, and you can see there's the highlight. Twitch needs to add a slow motion feature because you can totally see the spray. Just it was across the webcam. It was all across the back of my chair. It was on my keyboard, just Mountain Dew just everywhere. It was dripping down my face. Yeah, that's kind of a memorable one.
I had one where I was testing out an Amazon Echo, like with the Alexa function.
Oh,
It's
you can
kind of
have
like
lots
a
of fun with
Siri.
those.
Yeah, and so I was like asking it all these nerdy questions, and I will tell you guys that when I panic, I don't do anything. Like I had deer in the headlights, and I just go, and I can't do anything. So I asked it a question what the weather was like, and it began to tell everyone the exact GPS coordinates of where I lived. And it was like the weather at -6.2 northeast west. And then I was like, no. And so I was just screaming, you don't hear this, like by trying to like grab the power cord. And I was like freaking out that I brought my stream down and I deleted the bot and then I brought it back up and everyone's like, you're a hot mess. And I was like, I am definitely a hot mess. Like it was my, like what?
Muting your mic is very difficult.
Dude, I could have, but
Panic, Jordan,
I
panic.
just was like, I didn't know what to do, so I just started screaming, you don't hear this. As if I was like, you know her. And then the chat's like, your secret's safe with us. And I was like, I trust no one. Like, this is the worst. Who does? Anyway, whatever. It was terrible. Thank you for your question. I hope that provided.
That was a great question.
That was a great question. Hi, over here.
Hi, this one's for Jordan. Do you remember when you got 20,000 people to watch you eat a sandwich?
Oh, I do. I don't know if it's still a long-standing world record, but I hope it is. Actually, probably not with social eating now. But I like to think when I did it, it's the most people who've ever watched someone eat a sandwich in front of a webcam.
You might have been the first.
Maybe.
You might have been
well,
the first.
there's mukbang in Korea. That's
Well, on Twitch, though. You did start with a banana, though, didn't you? Did
I
you
don't
start?
remember which was first.
What came first, the banana or the sandwich? Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. So just recently I started a YouTube channel with my parents, and I only have about 100 subscribers. But I was wondering
still really
if you
good.
have
Only?
any.
That's great.
I was
100
wondering
subs
if
is
you have any tips for me to grow my channel.
Time. If you recently started it and you have 100 subscribers, that's pretty darn good. I think we were just talking about this the other day that like people tend to, because YouTube has been around for a long time and people have had years and years and years to build up hundreds of thousands and millions of followers, people expect that you don't have success unless you have, you know, 1 million subscribers or 400,000, and you've had success with 100 people. That's good, right? So just keep doing what you're doing and keep trying, and over time it'll just continue to build and have fun and do what you like.
Jordan, do you happen to know roughly how many total videos you've posted?
It's in the ballpark of 3,300.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Wow.
So if you've posted, 10, you shouldn't feel bad that you don't have the sub count that Jordan does. It's a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
Also, back when I started,
Back in my day. He's so
like
old.
a 10,000 subscriber channel, that was real big at that point. When I made my account, I was like, oh my gosh, if I could reach 10,000 subscribers, I've made it. Some people, there were like a couple people in gaming at that time who would hit 100,000, and that was a pipe dream. That would never happen to me. And so it's just grown so much that I think now people view when they're just starting as like I don't have anything, and really you do. You
Picture 100 people in a room. Like
Yeah.
imagine this is your subscribers right here, and that's a lot of people.
So it'll grow. I mean, if you got 100, you're doing something right. So you should get more people.
Just keep doing
tagging
it.
on.
Just keep doing it.
Good job. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. I was just curious to know, what is the weirdest or funniest thing you've seen in the chat during a stream?
Oh,
There's just so
when I
much.
very first started live streaming, somebody in the chat had ruined something, and because I always do, and somebody went to be like, oh, typical Ari, and they spelled it T-I-P, like T-I and then the word pickle, and I lost it. I was on the floor crying for like 15 minutes. And at that point, the chat then was laughing about me laughing. But for some reason, I was like picturing like this pickle, like fumbling around, like, oh my God. And I like couldn't handle it. I like was laughing so hard that like, then it became like a joke, like, oh, typical Ari, but you have to spell it with like a pickle. And it's not even that funny, but to me, like, it died and it became like a huge thing in my chat for like years.
You should get a shirt.
Typical Ari.
Yeah, why is that not an emote
I have a banana.
with like rainbow hair?
It could be like a
Ari.
pickle wearing a tie.
Yeah.
Tie pickle.
A tie
I don't know how to-
pickle. It needs to have a tie.
Whatever. Don't listen to
You're
me.
out.
About T-shirts.
You're done, Jordan.
Too meta. Right. I think that my chat room does so many weird things every minute of every day that it is very hard to pinpoint. They've come up with weird sayings that I don't know what they mean, and builds on the server around those sayings, and kept it secret forever. And then the reveal was, it doesn't mean anything. It was like, oh, great, hooray. Yeah, every minute of every day they surprise me, but that's what makes it great.
Man, there's so much. I'll give you one example of something from chat. One day somebody asked me what kind of chair I had, because they're like, I'm a bigger guy too, so I need recommendations. I'm like, I actually don't like this chair very much, so I'm not gonna recommend it to you. And so then people in the chat were like, #chair fund. We need to get Bacon a better chair. And I'm like, I didn't say I needed a better chair. Like, I could go get a chair. Like, that's not, no, #chair fund. And then people started sending in tips, and like, everyone was just constantly about this chair fund. And I'm sitting here going, I don't need a chair. Can we stop? And so somebody mailed me a chair. It was about 3 inches tall. So I got this in my P.O. box, and so after that, a lot of people, missed that the chair had arrived. So then they would come in and be like, #chair fund. I'll be like, oh, no, the fund was successful, guys. Oh, I've got it right here. I'll hold it up to the webcam. Here's the chair right there.
I was kind of hoping the fund would have been big enough. You could have just bought like a Lamborghini, taken the chair out of it,
Right.
and turn that into your seat. Oh well.
That's how I ended up in our last live stream, how I ended up eating a bug, because they had said, oh, if it was like other people had said, if you donate $500 to charity, I'll eat a bug. And they were like, well, you do it. And I was like, no. And so these guys kept like, you have to do this. Like, it's for good. It's for charity. And I was like, fine. If someone, because the chat kept them being like, Aaron, eat a bug. Aaron, eat a bug. And I was like, everyone just be quiet. If one person donates $5,000, I'll eat a bug, to like get them to shut up. And then someone did it. And I was like, now I got to do it. I can't back out now. And I got peer pressured into eating a bug, man.
For charity. Think of the kids.
Have you ever had a cracker full of ants? Because I don't know that it's worth it.
I've done some ridiculous things for charity.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
that, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. What's the craziest thing your community has done for you?
Oh, that was kind of similar. Can you think of anything else?
I think maybe in a positive fashion is what he's
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah. I had someone send me silverware, and I use it to this day. It's really good silverware.
Because you were using plastic for a long time.
No, it was like 1960s silverware. It was like the weirdest silverware ever, but it was
They
the
raided
silverware
their
I'd had since
grandmother's
college.
house and sent you their grandmother's silverware?
No, that's exactly it. No, it was the camping. My parents like to go camping. It was a silverware they used to use for camping, because if they lost it, they didn't care. I got that when I moved
The fact
out.
that your chat knows what your silverware looks like.
Listen, it's a very dedicated community. Yeah, and Zealous Quiche sent me brand new silverware, and it's amazing, and I use it every day, and I don't know if she talked to some silverware guru, but it is so good.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Sometime.
And then other than just supporting, if I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support of my community.
Same. All right, I think we have time for one more if we can answer maybe two. Hi.
Hello. What kind of capture cards do you guys use?
I don't.
No.
OBS.
Well, OBS is like a
that's the
software, but most of us
software.
don't use capture cards. If you're using like a console, then you'll need I have like a Houpage, but I don't use my console very often. But most PCs have enough stuff built in that you can use it without having to have another capture card.
My favorite is Magewell, and one of the primary reasons for that for me is because it's better about the HTTP DRM, which that's a whole lot of letters that a lot of people don't know, but basically it's copy protection, because they don't want you using a capture card to pirate movies, right? But if you're live streaming with a capture card, it's a legitimate use. Like you want to stream your Xbox, so you want to run the Xbox into a capture card so you can record the video. Magewell is better about not like completely freezing everything up if your device is sending that copy protection signal or whatever. And it's more, I just like them a lot.
They're a little expensive. AverMedia makes a really great capture card, the AverMedia Live Gamer HD, something like that. That's a little bit less expensive. But yeah, I've seen the Magewell products. They're great. They're really good, but they are on the expensive side.
Okay, one more real quick. Hi.
So I'm wondering, what was the what was the most shocking thing you have ever done when you were getting scared by a horror game?
Oh, I cried. I got so scared I just cried, and I told everyone I was sorry. I couldn't do it anymore.
I think I had to leave the room.
I don't get scared by horror games. I
Whoa.
usually just laugh.
Whoa.
Whoa,
tough
macho
guy.
man.
I mean, I
I've
know, and I
fallen out
love
of my
it.
chair.
I was watching Freddy Krueger when I was 6, okay? Like, I'm big into horror. Oh, God, sorry. Did I scare anybody? I didn't mean to.
All right, thank you guys so much for coming. We don't have time to sign anything right now. They're gonna have us go backstage, but we will be around. Make sure you check Twitter and you can ask agents if we're doing signings and stuff. Thank you guys so much for coming, and we will see you around MineCon.